Going into my season 2, what's some advice that you would give for me?
Season 2, I can't wait to work with you some more. The biggest advice I have for you is going to be how you shoot your layups, period.
The basketball world just witnessed the most graceful shutdown in podcast history. WNBA legend Lisa Leslie stepped onto Angel Reese's show and dropped truth bombs that left everyone stunned while defending Caitlin Clark's impact on women's basketball. Leslie delivered a masterclass in leadership that nobody saw coming, and when Reese asked for advice on improving her game, Leslie's response was so brutally honest, it's gone viral. Across social media, this Hall of Famer just changed the entire Clark-Reese narrative with just a few powerful minutes for months. Now we've been watching this strange dynamic play out in the WNBA. On one side, we have Caitlin Clark, the rookie phenom, breaking viewership records and bringing unprecedented attention to the league. On the other, we have veterans and fellow rookies like Angel Reese who seem uncomfortable with, if not outright resistant, to all the spotlight Clark is receiving.
I'm curious if you think winning an NCAA championship is needed for that eventual GOAT conversation, greatest of all time status.
Absolutely not. I didn't win an NCAA championship. I was National Player of the Year. I won all of the individual awards, but sometimes, it's very hard to win a national championship.
The debate has gotten heated with fans taking sides, players throwing shade on social media, and sports analysts pouring gasoline on the fire with hot takes. But then INW walks Lisa Leslie, 4-time Olympic gold medalist, 2-time WNBA champion, 3-time WNBA MVP, and suddenly everyone needs to listen. Let's start with what Leslie said about Caitlin Clark, because her defense of the rookie wasn't just supportive, it was a complete reality check for anyone questioning Clark's impact.
Stephen A. Smith had a very interesting discourse with Fee recently over the number of games the Fever broadcasted this season compared to other teams who have also got stars on them. So I'm curious what you make of W's decision to lean into highlighting its stars, even if, they aren't the best.
I don't know what the big deal is about the fact that Caitlin is getting a lot of love. Leslie stated plainly she deserves that, and she's helped change this game just as a lot of other players have. It is what it is. And I think that we are all benefiting from the effects that she's had on the game.
I think we have to understand that when one player eats, we all eat. And as we all get more opportunities, it just opens it up for everyone else. And I think Caitlin has said that even herself in certain interviews. And I love that. I love that she's not the player who's like, it's all about her. It's not. She's giving love and homage to those of us that have come before her. She shares the wealth with her teammates, and she doesn't have to do that. So
those aren't just empty words coming from Lisa Leslie. They carry the weight of someone who helped build the WNBA from the ground up. Leslie was dunking in high school before it was cool. She was one of the faces that launched the WNBA in 1997. When she speaks about the league's business and growth, she's speaking from a place of unmatched experience. But Leslie didn't stop there. She went deeper, highlighting something many critics have overlooked: Clark's humility and RESP respect for those who came before her. I love that she's not the player who's like, it's all about her. She's giving love and homage to those of us that have come before her. She shares the wealth with her teammates, and she doesn't have to do that. This observation cuts through one of the most persistent criticisms thrown at Clark, that she's overhyped and self-centered. Leslie is pointing out that actually Clark has been remarkably gracious, consistently crediting the league's pioneers and distributing praise to teammates. Despite the media's focus on her, Leslie also addressed the elephant in the room, the issue of television coverage that has become such a flashow this season. When asked about Stephen A. Smith's comments regarding the number of nationally televised Indiana Fever games compared to other teams with stars, Leslie didn't hesitate. It's all about money and marketing, and we cannot deny what Caitlin Clark has done for the women's game. Have we ever had teams have to get into larger arenas to play against a team? No, we have not. So if we have more eyeballs on the game and Caitlin Clark brings that, why would we feel some kind of way? Because she has more television games. This is the business perspective that often gets lost in the emotion of the debate. Leslie understands that visibility equals viability in professional sports. More eyes on the game mean more sponsors, better TV deals, higher salaries, and a stronger league overall. But perhaps her most powerful point came when she reminded everyone of the Collective benefit of individual stardom, we have to understand that when one player eats, we all eat. And as we all get more opportunity, it just opens it up for everyone else. This is the core truth that seems to be missing from so much of the WNBA discourse right now. Leslie is essentially saying this isn't a zero-sum game. Clark's success doesn't come at the expense of other players. It creates opportunities for everyone. Now, all of this support for Clark would be noteworthy on its own, but what made Leslie's comments truly remarkable was the context. She delivered this defense of Clark while sitting across from Angel Reese, who many view as Clark's biggest rival. And then came the moment that sent social media into a frenzy. When Reese asked Leslie for advice heading into her second WNBA season, Leslie could have taken the easy route. She could have offered generic encouragement or focused only on Reese's strengths. Instead, she looked Reese in the eye and delivered the most honest assessment possible. The biggest advice I have for you is going to be how you shoot your layups, period. Like, we're going to fix that. That's fixable for you. And I think that's probably the biggest. I think your shot from the outside is improving. I love that your ball handling is good. Your defense is improved. Let that sink in. One of the greatest centers in basketball history just told Angel Reese on Reese's own podcast that she needs to work on making layups, not some advanced post move, not three-point shooting. Layups, the most fundamental scoring skill in basketball. What makes this moment so powerful isn't just the honesty, it's the intent behind it. Leslie wasn't trying to embarrass Reese. She wasn't settling scores or playing favorites in the Clark-Reese narrative. She was doing what true mentors do, identifying a fixable weakness and offering to help address it. The statistics back up Leslie's assessment. Reese has struggled with finishing around the rim, shooting an underwhelming 39% from the field. In her rookie season, for a player who gets most of her shots close to the basket, that's a significant issue. Shots from within 5 feet below 50%, shots from 59 feet, and abysmal 13.3%. These aren't just numbers, they're career limits for a player with Reese's potential. And Leslie, who knows what it takes to dominate in the paint at the professional level, recognized this immediately. What's remarkable is that Reese didn't edit this critique out of the podcast. She could have. It was her show, her platform, but she let it stay in, suggesting that perhaps beneath the social media persona and public rivalry, there's a player who genuinely wants to improve and recognizes the value of unfiltered feedback from a legend. Leslie even went further, suggesting that Reese's finishing issues might have a psychological component. I'm going to authentically and seriously give Angel Reese credit because it's a podcast and it's her podcast. And if she wanted to edit that out, she could have. She raised the possibility that Reese might be dealing with the yips, that dreaded mental block that can affect even elite athletes. This wasn't just technique advice, it was an invitation to address the mental side of performance that's often harder to discuss than physical skills. But Leslie didn't leave Reese without direction. She pointed to NBA players like Dennis Rodman and Joakim Noah, stars who weren't known for scoring, but made massive impacts through rebounding, defense, and energy. She outlined a path for Reese to lean into her strengths while working on her weaknesses. I think she realizes my game is incomplete. I'm not bigger and stronger than everybody else. And so the things that were hidden in college, and particularly in high school, that I can't do anymore. And so I might as well be honest about it. And authentic. I'm working on it, guys. This moment represents something deeper than basketball advice. It's a blueprint for what real leadership in women's basketball should look like. Leslie showed that supporting rising stars like Clark and mentoring players like Reese aren't contradictory actions, they're complementary parts of building a stronger league in a media landscape that thrives on conflict and division. Leslie refused to pick sides in the Clark-Reese narrative. Instead, she chose to elevate both players in different ways, celebrating Clark's impact while investing in Reese's development. The contrast between Leslie's approach and some of the pettier reactions we've seen from other WNBA figures couldn't be clearer. While some have been busy complaining about Clark's media coverage or throwing shade on social media, Leslie is focused on the bigger picture. How do we grow this league for everyone? Her perspective comes from a unique place. Leslie played when the WNBA was fighting for basic visibility. She remembers when players had to fly coach, when salaries were a fraction of what they are today, when women's basketball was an afterthought in the sports media landscape. So when she sees someone like Clark bringing unprecedented attention to the league, she doesn't feel threatened. She sees opportunity. And when she sees a talented young player like Reese who could be even better with some targeted improvement, she doesn't hold back. The social media reaction to Leslie's comments has been fascinating. Many fans who had been on either Team Clark or Team Reese found themselves nodding along with Leslie's balanced assessment. Because here's the thing, about truth. When it's delivered without agenda, even those who disagree with it tend to respect it. For Clark's supporters, Leslie's defense felt like validation from the highest possible source. Here was a WNBA founding mother essentially saying, yes, Clark is special, and yes, her impact is real. For Reese fans, Leslie's direct critique might have been harder to hear, but it came with something valuable, a pathway to improvement. Leslie wasn't writing Reese off, she was investing in her future by identifying a specific area where growth could take her game to another level beyond the Clark-Reese dynamic. Leslie's comments highlight a broader truth about the current state of the WNBA. The league is at a pivotal moment, experiencing unprecedented growth in viewership, social media engagement, and mainstream interest. How its veterans, current stars, and rookies navigate this moment will determine whether this is a temporary spike or a sustainable new chapter. Leslie understands something fundamental that seems to be getting lost in some of the more heated discussions: a rising tide lifts all boats.